Gleesy, do you have any needs that aren't being met?
Shut up. You had me at needs. So asking this simple question will make sure that your needs are being met.
So what question is that? Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Gleesy.
And I'm Al.
And here at Forever I Do, y'all know we be bragging.
Yes.
We build relationships according to God. So as you heard from the hook, we're tackling our second question, which is,
do you have any needs that are not being met?
That is such a crucial question. My goodness, a lot can come from that question.
Yes. So, you want to make sure that you have time set aside when you actually open the door with this question, because it probably won't be a quick conversation. It's going to open the door for some things that maybe you have discussed or maybe you have not discussed. But either way, you want to set that aside of time so you can be intentional about actually unpacking those unmet needs.
Yeah, that's good. And we recently, tackled this question, and a lot of good stuff came from it.
It's going to bring about some transparency.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And you're going to have to, I guess, kind of set your feelings aside, because it's not about pride. It's not about ego. It's about meeting your partner's needs. So if you go into it saying, well, I know I'm killing it, I know I'm knocking it out the park, they're not going to have anything that I'm not doing.
Yeah. That's
probably not true. And it's not to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. It's to get better.
Yeah.
It's about growth. Every relationship should be about growth, about getting better, about moving forward, about meeting those needs that maybe you just overlooked, or maybe you used to meet them, but in this season you haven't. Or maybe they just changed.
Yeah.
As your partner has grown, their needs have changed. They're still the same person on the inside, but something just is needed that may not have been needed before. You may have changed seasons from, maybe you went from a season where it was just the two of you, to now you got children. And now there are needs that aren't being met that were being met before, because you had a lot more date nights. You had a lot more time alone. You had a lot more time to just sit in your thoughts. And if you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can't even sit in your thoughts.
Yeah.
So again, it's not about hurting feelings. It's not about pride. It's about growth.
So it's not a conversation that you just have once.
No. You should be trying to have this conversation as often as you can.
One of the biggest takeaways from our conversation that we had was that not all of my needs you can meet.
Yeah.
You was like, well, I think that's something that you really need to pray about. And, you just kind of directed me of what you thought that I could do, but you could not meet that need.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's certain needs that your partner, your spouse, just won't be able to meet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that a professional counselor needs to meet. Maybe it's something that maybe they need to unpack something with like their family, that maybe it's something they've been carrying for years that only can be resolved by going and sitting down with the person that the issue is about. But again, that transparency allows you to get closer to your spouse. It allows you to know things that maybe are the intimate details of their life that, perhaps you weren't involved in. But again, it's just allowing you to unpack stuff and to continue to grow, continue to be free in your relationship, so that you can have those intimate conversations and have more intimate conversations about things that perhaps you haven't discussed before. So again, like we had kind of categories of like, that's something that I can do better in. Like when you tell me about that need, I can do better in that area. That's something that perhaps you need to unpack with a counselor. That's something that maybe is internal. Maybe you need to kind of get in the word and kind of have a come to Jesus moment, just you and God, about that particular thing. But it allows you to, again, know what those needs are.
Yeah.
And work harder, work smarter, work better, work together.
Yeah.
On getting them met.
Yeah. This question will reveal some things that maybe you and your spouse need to work on.
Yes. So again, for example, we said we recently had this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that will unpack for us that was revealed for us is just we have a certain day that's set aside for us, just us. We have children, so of course you have to be intentional about that time together. And what we found was that this time we had set aside for each other, we didn't go into it at our best.
Yeah.
Not because we didn't want to meet each other's needs, but because by the time Lisa got done with a long 12 hours longer shift, and I got done with work and then picking up the kids and doing everything that needed to be done to get them ready for bedtime in the evening, we just didn't really have much energy left.
Yeah.
And now we sitting there and falling asleep on the couch instead of actually spending quality time together. And again, it wasn't that we didn't want to meet each other's needs. We just didn't have the energy at the end of the day. So again, this conversation brought that to light, and it was a simple decision of let's just move it to a day where one of us is off to give so that we can actually take care of everything that need to be taken care of first, and then actually intentionally set that time together apart from the kids, they be asleep or away, and we could actually go into it at our best.
Yeah. That's so good. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're asking that question so that you understand what need is not being met.
Yes. Maybe it's a shared need or maybe it's an individual need. Either way, have that conversation.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video from us. We will see you